a great way to have a grip on some other way of thinking, another culture, a whole other process besides America. Although we're multicultural, it isn't the only culture.
Because this is Samoan, I have to remind myself that over and over again. You can't expect things to be like they are in the States.
You get very tired and fed up of being always different, always noticed when you're riding your bike down the street because you're a white person, a Palangi. On the way into town, you must have half a dozen, at least bye-bye Palangis, until you want to scream at the people, at usually the small kids, just looking for attention. Each one of them by itself is not so bad, but it builds up to a level you just want to scream, leave me alone sometimes.
I have to say, the best parts in Western Samoa are working with individual people.
There's many things here that work very well, and they would not work in our culture, but in this culture, they work very well.
I think the biggest high I've had here was just with the sheer natural beauty of Samoa, especially the sea and the sunlight and the air and the flowers and colors. It's a very colorful place.
It seems in some questions like how old are you? It's a question, but you're not using the S in front of it.
Because same thing with name. I know you have a name. You should have a name. You have a roomie. So in sometimes we use English. We're confused.
I'm sick of the language. I can't stand it anymore. I don't hear it.
In class, you know a lot of things because you're in class, but as soon as you get out, you start talking to your family, they throw all these words at you like, what did you say?
Somebody says something to you, and you still don't really know what they're saying, but every day you have a few more clues. You can pick up more things that they say. And I want so badly to be able to come back with the right answer.
Yeah.
frustration, anger, the feeling of being alone, and I ask you strength. We ask you strength in supporting one another, being sensitive to one another in this very difficult learning process, and approaching our task with a sense of humor. Please look out for us. Amen.
Joe came here a non-cook, but is rapidly becoming the host. His house is the party house, dinner house.
This is Ray. He's getting ready to go for a morning jog. Hello, Ray. Many volunteers in Samoa go jogging.
Hello, Kisa. I gotta take this baby off. Usually you got lava on anything, so you don't need to worry about it. There you go. Samoa. The truth of the matter is you wouldn't wear your good lava though because you get so beat up. The wash my pants now. You gotta really scrub because you get dirty, and if you don't scrub, then you just gross everybody. Ooh, Samoan ooh, At night you can take it off, but not in the daytime. You do it all under.
This is Ray, getting ready to go to work. Many volunteers right there, Miata bicycles to work. Pisikoa in Western Samoa are infamous for their red bicycles. Mother Ray. And there he goes. Tofa Ray.
nutrition clinic, we feed them usually a supo. This is suo rice, what they call it. It's rice with coconut cream. But we also feed a vegetable type of soup, like supo laupele with some fish or something inside of it. And we tell them how to make the soup. Okay. She says her baby eats soup with mutton, and also likes mango very good, and all kinds of vegetables. Okay, very good. Likes everything.
Tasi. Lua. What's Tolu? Tolu. Ba. Ba. You. Not like that, but you. I. Just like in the sign language, I, the letter, I. Onto your chest. Nata. B. Lele.
Look in your book, you have a point there.
B.
This is B down here. Is that right?
No. Yes. Yes.
What does it say to do? Connect the point to its image. These are your choices for the center. So you have to find the right one.
This sprocket nut like this, the ratchets, you make sure that your springs are in here like this position. Mama. These are Mickey Mouse students.
One of the purposes of this was to find out which trees were top producers, so that we could establish a progeny tribe, seed tribe, and I'm also in charge of that. So essentially, we put all the data together, picked out the trees that were top producers, and now we're putting seed in the ground for those trees down in the gene.
Cocoa pie. This is a jorquette. A cocoa seedling grows straight up, reaches about a meter, and produces fan branches, and no more straight up.
How do we get rid of water and salt? That's right. That's where you skin. Is it sweet? Sweat. Sweat. Okay, the second word is aqua. Every time you sweat, water and salts come out, and that is another waste. Okay. It's so hard for these kids because they don't speak English as their first language, and the exams are in English. And so they've got the double burden of having to learn the science plus learn the English language at the same time in order to pass their exams.
All right, the difference of the y coordinates divided by the difference in the x coordinates. So, in your slope-intercept form of a line, the new form we learned yesterday, what number in that equation is the slope of the line? Very close, very close, very close. What must I do here? Is that the same thing? Are these two equations equivalent?
Yes.
I really didn't know what to expect when we heard of the assignment when we were back in the States that it was to set up a new industrial arts facility. I was really overjoyed. Most of these students have never used anything but a machete. I've had to really lower my expectations on what I can accomplish here in 2 years. I've been here about 6 months now, and now I'm starting to think, well, in the next 18 months, what can I realistically accomplish here? And it's certainly not going to be as much as I thought that it would. We're required to teach in English, but the English is very poor, and we often have a communication problem. I thought I could teach anybody anything, but you really have to be very basic. In fact, in class, you have to speak like this.
Okay, now what does that do for the pain in your back? Does it make it better? In the States, we learned to depend a lot on machines and stuff. A lot of my classes, I came here right from school, and a lot of my classes dealt with machines, you know, different modalities that we could use. And there aren't a great deal here, so you learn to do with what you have. Healthcare, the prevention rather than the cure hasn't really been established here yet. Nobody has really accepted that idea. People come to the hospital to be cured when they already have, you know, some sort of an injury, rather than taking precautions.
These are some bunch of things that I got in the pending file. We've written several proposals that were submitted to the Australian High Commission, and I thought they went down to Foreign Affairs yesterday and to the Australian High Commission. I talked to Kerry. That guy in Foreign Affairs never sent that stuff over.
Just a hell of a battle for like about 6 months trying to get anybody to do anything. I came down here and they had, I bet you they had 3 ton of rock that they had already taken out of the stream and put along right where this pit is along there. And I told them that they couldn't do that this is a reserve, and that they had to put it back, knowing that they probably would never do that. But at least stop them. And they stopped them doing it, and then about a half an hour or 3/4 an hour later, an old lady came down, and she was the one that they were getting the rocks for, and she asked, you know, Farm Moly, if they needed the rocks for some reason or another. Turned out, I think that they were building a pilot, and they needed them for a foundation. Now, we told them that they couldn't, I told them that they couldn't do it. And the next thing I knew, they were all hauled out of here.
You guys are not brand damaged, so you should know what's going on, right?
Take a file or a rasp and file off. Not down, not around, straight. Everybody get a tri-square and a file or a rasp and 1 block of wood and go set up at the desk, okay? No, don't fight over the tube.
The whole thing is the uterus. What's the wall? It's just the side. All right, when the female rat is ready to release an egg, blood will fill in here, just like in the humans, huh? And the eggs will attach on the wall of the uterus, on both sides.
Family health is a kind of a fancy name for family planning. And though my official title here is counselor, unfortunately our executive officer left here about 3 months ago, quite suddenly. So at the present time, I'm pitching in as the executive officer and doing all that's involved in that, answering letters and putting things in order. But I'm still available as a counselor, and we will soon have a regular executive officer, and I will then go back to my original role of being a counselor. We have one of our clients here, maternal child care. What is more appropriate? His mother-to-be and a mother who is, and he's frightened of your camera.
Teaching electronics seems pretty esoteric when you're considering that a lot of people in the villages, most people in the villages, don't have that much contact with electronics apparatus, except that video cassette recorders and tape recorders and radios are a very big thing now in Samoa. When these students came into my class, they didn't even know what electricity was, and their knowledge of the use of tools was very limited. Now they can do very basic repairs on tape recorders and radios.
There was nothing, I had to start from scratch. Same with me. So, I mean, when a new volunteer comes in, it'd be a lot easier if they had some notebooks or some notes to refer to curriculum-wise, because the only thing I had to look at was a really basic syllabus from the school C and the government exam, so having a notebook and a real syllabus to make it a lot easier.
This woman here is a diabetic, and she has sepsis in her left foot, which is a common case that I see in acute aid. Usually the diabetics don't come into the hospital until they have some kind of infection in their foot. And I'd like to catch them at this time to try to talk to them about their diet. Yeah, you.
I've never been to Fiji. I've never eaten food in Fiji. But I think that I would like it because I know a little bit about the South Pacific, and I think it would be nice. So that's the kind of prejudice I have, a feeling or an idea I had before I experienced something. What would be an example of a kind of negative prejudice? Can we hear some of that? Racial prejudice? Okay.
Yeah, does anybody know what the name of all these cells together are? Name this whole thing? The name of this whole collective part here, this part of this system, this is the solar panel. Or you can call it a module. Does anybody know what the Samoan word for this is? What? Solar panel. Oh, solar panel.
Where's Masain? I'm
Good evening, Moy.
Yes.
Arita. Arita, where are you?
In Samoa, you have to be very resourceful. At Technical Institute, you have to be even more resourceful. The students in the refrigeration program here at the Technical Institute are developing skills which will help carry them on even to New Zealand or Australia if they prefer to. The work they're doing here is highly unskilled at the moment, but it's something that they can go from. It's a foundation they're building on.
All ages, both sexes.
Good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and the rain and the apple tree. The Lord is good to me.
Wait, it's really neat.
So it's nice.
Touching. The women spread out. Spread their legs and make a diamond shape. Oh, they did the underwater volley flop.
I poet. This is a poet? Yeah.
Yeah, malo. This is one of the ways we cope.
Yeah. Amata.
Somebody said to get along in Samoa, you have to play sweepy, drink beer, and play volleyball.
It helps.
This is really boring. Usually we don't read. We make whoopee.
This is a lemon tree there. And we've got some green onions here. And some turnips here that are not doing very well. Got a pineapple. And lots and lots of rocks. All of the rocks on the path I've dug out of the garden.
I can easily see living in up here getting caught up in just what's going on there, the way everybody does. I mean, just living just like you are at home, or just like you just moved to another city to live.
I expected to come to Samoa and be in a rural situation where there's no electric, an outdoor toilet, living in a village situation, and I was very much surprised, and I guess in looking back I can say very much delighted in living a farming style life, where I had most of the conveniences that I had at home.
It's been too easy for me here. It's not the reason. My prime objective for joining Peace Corps has not been met. I think I would have liked to experience the village situation. I would have liked to have been tested on how well I adapted to not having electricity and refrigeration and being more in touch with nature.
No bugs, no insects, no mice, no creepy crawly things.
But I had mosquitoes, I had rats. I would be sitting at the table studying and have my house rat running between my feet back and forth because there were so many places he could run in and out and duck into all the time. And mosquitoes, a lot of lizards, a lot of spiders, a lot of cockroaches. Cockroaches are about this big here. Nothing poisonous, really. Centipedes, but they're not lethal.
I decided that I would come and try to be part of a family here because I wanted to know what life was like for a Samoan. So I figured the best way to do that was to stay with a Samoan family and experience their daily life. It's got advantages and disadvantages to it. One of the advantages is, like I said, that you do learn a lot of different aspects of Samoan life that you wouldn't see otherwise. And I see a lot of subtleties in the interpersonal relationships that I wouldn't otherwise get to see. The disadvantages, I think the reason that other Peace Corps don't do it is because if you stay with the Samoan family, you have to adhere to their rules, which means that you don't go out a lot. There are a lot of things that I would be doing if I wasn't staying here, but just because you're not supposed to leave the village at night and things like that, but I don't go out as much as I would otherwise. Also, there's the matter of having, there's the idea of personal space here is very different. There really isn't any. And in America, we're so used to having our own room and our own this and all that, and that just doesn't happen here. So it takes a while to get used to.
Well, I've been here 2 years now. For me, it was quite a test to see how well I could deal with different kinds of people, and at times it really has stretched my capabilities, and I've learned a lot from it.
It's very interesting. The ways that people treat each other, the fiafias. I love octopus. I love to eat octopus and palusami.
Sometimes when you feel that people should be speaking in English,
because supposedly they're supposed to speak in English in the schools. They don't speak in English. And that can be very frustrating, where you sit down and have staff meetings, and the whole staff meeting is carried on in Samoan, and you don't have any idea what's going on.
I think probably the greatest facet of learning the Samoan language is it enables you to flirt extensively with the women.
Cross-cultural relationships. First thing, let me say, be careful when you walk into a bar because you might confuse a girl with a papafine. That's a gay person in drag.
I was delighted to find that there were things available here that for which I can keep up my physical fitness program. It is not to the extent that I was doing at home, simply because I choose not to run. Number one, the stamina. I don't have it I guess it's the humidity, and insofar as running early in the morning, the dogs scare the hell out of me, so I will not run. However, there is the gym where I work out 3 times a week with weights, and there are lots of aerobics classes 7 times a week.
As far as being married, though, I think it makes it more difficult to socialize with your counterparts in Samoa. We found it frustrating, my wife and I, because the Samoans, our age group, they don't tend to go out and socialize as husband and wife. You go out and drink with the guys or party with the guys, whatever you do. And then the girls stay at home or the girls go with themselves, but it's hard to circulate together.
The most frustrating thing about living here in Samoa, I would say, is riding your bike through town and approaching a group of young Samoan men who begin to say rude comments to you because you are a Palangi girl. And of course they think you don't understand, which is frustrating in itself, but the most frustrating part is not being able to respond to them in a manner which you would be able to vent your frustration.
Be careful when you get an IV here. You have to watch your own bottle. They always have a tendency to let it run out and then they'll come and change it.
I think the biggest problem I have with the Samoan culture is that goods are shared pretty much by all, and things get somewhat perverted in my own eyes to the point where people think they can just take things and it's all right. For instance, I live in Motuatua, and in the time I've been here, which has been a year and a half, our house has been broken into 3 times.
The most pleasant experience is when you get to the end of the bike ride, you're at the yacht club or at Pololo Deep, and you can sit on the beach and look at the ocean.
I'd say that it's really important to be to put on your observer glasses and try not to be judgmental, when you first get here. And I think maintaining connections at home is really important too. To make friendships here, certainly learn Samoan. That is a real asset. And make Samoan friends, make Peace Corps friends here. But also keep those connections at home, because if any one of those things falls through, at least you still have your home connections. And you are going back home, most likely.